Guys, welcome to the first episode of the Single Guys Cookbook. What we're going to do is we're going to start off the very first episode with some soup, nice heartwarming winter delights. This is Tattie and Leek, all the way from Scotland. We're going to start off with the pot is already on with water in it. Now, what we're going to use to flavour the soup is ham stock cubes. Now, these recipes that we're going to go through should have stuff that you've got in your cupboard. So, we're going to have one. These are just your regular, nothing fancy, nothing doing ham stock cubes. 2. 3. 4 and 5. Now, this recipe really is straightforward. We're just putting it all in one big pot. What we're going to do is we're going to help the process. So we're just going to cut these into smaller chunks so they dissolve a little bit quicker and just make life a little bit easier when we come to doing it. Now, these are notoriously salty, so be very careful to always taste as you go. So they go in. Now, this is potato and leek, but one of the main ingredients we have is carrots. So we just top and tail. Obviously these have already been cleaned and peeled. So we're just going to get rid of these ends. Now I've got 6 carrots to get us started with. Now, depending on how you like your soup, you can just cut them into chunks, into dices, however you may want it. I feel that the best way for this soup though is if we just break them down into sections. We quickly just cube them up. Like I said, you can have it in discs. You can have bigger chunks. This way, as the soup is cooking and breaking in, you can actually just nice and simply it'll break into the sections. See me, I've lost a bit there. Just let you know, I am no Gordon Ramsay. I am not a professional chef. What I am is just an old-fashioned home cook. Sick of eating takeaways, so I decided to make some homemade stuff that you know what you're putting in it, so it's easier if you're calorie counting, if you know what is going in your food. Now, this day and age, you never know. As this series develops, these recipes will be guided along with seasonal party foods, It depends on how we get on. So as you can see, these are just very roughly cut into dices. Not too uniformed, not really bothered. Last one. But this soup is a family favourite. So along with the stock cubes that you've used, you just put these in the pan. I will show you the pan once we get it all up and running. At this moment though, it's all about the prep. So next we've got the onion. So again, it's already been peeled. We're just going to take the end off. Now, again, depending on how you want to cut it, I'm okay with big chunks of veg in my soup. So we just cut it. You can, if you're being a bit fancy, cut it a bit like that. And then thinly cut. Always find a flat edge. Or, if you're a bit less careful with your knives, just cut big circles. Always mind, keep your fingers away. Put them back down, and again, very simply, cut across the grain, then cut into cubes. Again, roughly chopping, nothing too fancy. So we've got one onion there, and what we're going to do, we'll move that onion to the side, and then we've got another one. Again, just top and tail. Again, big bits, small bits, doesn't really matter, it's completely up to you. If you're going to blend it in the end, which I know a lot of people do to thicken up the soups, I'm not going to do it in this one. I prefer a more liquid soup, but you just cut them into bigger cubes, doesn't really matter. All you're doing is flavouring the stock. Now, we got the onion. We're going to now do leek, which is what the dish is named after. We'll get rid of this again, top and tail. Leek, which is also part of the onion family. Just peel that outer layer off. Make sure it's nice and clean. Now, with this, what you want to be doing is again, just shredding it. However you feel comfortable cutting, Just keep cutting. You'll see this rig up is not the greatest. I do apologise for that. It's all about the food, not the actual rig up. Again, depending on how you prefer your veg, you can cut it thinner, or you just make more incisions. So just like the onion, what we're going to do is we have 2 leeks. So again, top, tail. We just take this outer layer off. Once again, making sure it's clean. Any noise in the background, that is my boy. He loves these dishes that we're going to be cooking on here. So any single parents out there watching who've got fussy eaters, great way of getting loads of veg into your kids without them really knowing. Now on to the other main component, which is a potato. Again, these have just been washed and peeled. We are going again 4 cubes. Now I know people will be screaming at this and going, you should be burning off your veg first, sweating it out, get the... Again, I am not a professional chef. This is how I was taught. So, and I know it works. And that's what I want to show you guys. Just nice simple recipes that are better than your normal takeaway. And there's nothing wrong with takeaways. They serve a purpose. But if you've got a bit of time, a little bit of time, that's all that's needed. Again, these can be big and small pieces of potato. Some will break down in the cooking process, some will stay whole. Once again, none of these are fancy produce. They're just your normal run-of-the-mill potatoes that people have in their drawers or their fridge. There's nothing quite like a nice bowl of soup on a cold winter's day, and those days are coming. I just keep chopping these. If you get to a point where your chopping board, as you can see, it's sliding all over the place, if it's starting to get too big, too full, especially with the potatoes, you want to be doing this relatively fast, or they start to go brown in the air. I've only got a couple left. 3 left to do. It's just a pound of potatoes. That's what you get. Again, if you want, chopping technique's not the greatest, doesn't really matter. Let me just get rid of this now. Final potato to go in. This soup normally lasts a couple of days. Once my teenage son gets a hold of it though, and his friends, it's normally gone the same day. Now over to the pot, you can see it's all nice and full up, loads of veg, easily your 5 a day. So what we're going to do now is we'll leave that on the simmer, give the place a quick tidy up. Now as I mentioned before, with the stock cubes you've got to be careful which ones you buy. I do tend to have a number of salt in them, so all we're going to do at this point is we will just crack in a little bit of salt, just because all that potato should soak up that, and we're going to add in some black pepper. You can use a cracked one or a normal table salt. I know that everybody has the normal little tub of ground up black pepper already. At this point, your seasoning to taste. Remember, you can always add more, but you can never ever take away. So we're going to leave that now. As you can see, nice and healthy, and we will come back to that. Oh, pepper got up my nose. We'll let that boil and we'll come back in a bit. So as we can see, this is now boiling away. Let's just take that off. Now we'll put it down to a simmer. Give it a quick stir periodically. I'll just drop that a little bit. We'll come back and visit in a little while.